I never thought I'd see him again. Not after that night, not after all these years. Yet here he was, standing in my memory as vividly as ever. I was 20, wild, laughing, drunk on the music, the booze, the chaos of the community hall. 2 young men were on me, taking me together. One inside long mouse. The other inside long who'll blow me. And I could barely breathe from the intensity. And then I noticed a man, 10 feet away, watching. His eyes dark, intense, sizing me up, and I felt something I didn't understand then. Heat, danger, and fascination. I was lost into the moment, wild, young, and free, no care at all, but he was there watching. Watching everything I did and listening to every crazy thing I said. I didn't even realize would follow me for years. My body remembered that night. My mind remembered it. And now, a decade later, the universe had twisted itself cruelly. I glanced across the room, past the chatter, past my fiancé, and there he was again. His distant uncle, cousin to his father. The same dark eyes, the same commanding presence. My heart stuttered, my pulse spiked, and I felt a mix of shame, awkwardness, and that old, forbidden hunger coil in my stomach. Before I take you deeper into this story, hit subscribe. You'll want to hear every secret, every confession, and every sinful twist of what happened next. Meeting him again, under the pretense of family introductions, was like stepping into a trap. He smiled politely at my fiancé, shook hands with everyone, but when our eyes met, everything froze. I knew he remembered, and he knew I knew. I felt that spark, the same one from the party 10 years ago, rush through me. My cheeks warmed. My pulse raced. We exchanged words carefully, but every glance was electric. Fear gripped me, wondering if he'd tell. I could sense a disagreement on his take on the marriage. I loved my fiancé and I was willing to make it all happen, but this man could ruin it all with just a flick of his tongue. He was calm, controlled, and yet I could feel the intensity. I knew he remembered, though he said nothing. The tension between us was unspoken but undeniable. For weeks, I tried to navigate the house with normalcy. My fiancé had returned to work as a fly-in fly-out engineer on an oil rig. I was gonna live 5 months with his parents until he returned for the wedding. His uncle kept his distance outwardly, but his eyes followed me, always checking on me. Every laugh, every joke I made, even the dirty ones, felt like fuel for his smoldering curiosity. I must do everything right. I must not cross him. I caught myself adjusting my clothes more than once when he passed, noticing how his gaze lingered, measuring, evaluating. It was maddening. At the back of my head, I knew sooner or later he was either gonna tell my fiancé and his parents or to my face. One way or another we still had to talk about it and be done about it, because I needed to marry my fiancé. And nothing must ruin that. I needed him, my family needed him. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, he cornered me in the kitchen. I thought it was a simple question about the house, but the look in his eyes stopped me cold. "You remember that night, don't you?" he said quietly, inches from me. I swallowed hard. My heart was pounding. I couldn't lie, not to him. I do, I whispered. His hand brushed my waist, firm, commanding. My breath caught. I didn't know what was going on. I was confused. This wasn't what I had expected. His lips next to my ears, he whispered, "If you are to marry my nephew, this would be the only way, or else I'm telling." My mind was racing. I had to think quick, and I did. He was right. I was at his mercy, for me, my fiancé, and my family. I accepted my dilemma. The next moments were a blur of force, control, and ecstasy. He was taller and physically much larger than my fiancé. I felt his size, his strength, and the raw, dangerous tenderness he wielded. Every movement was precise, deliberate, and overwhelming as he took me in all positions. I surrendered completely. That night, I knew something irreversible had begun. I knew this was gonna be the future I created. I was his secret, his obsession, and I felt the thrill of it pulse through me. I was back to being the young woman I was 10 years ago. We found stolen moments in empty rooms, behind closed doors, in quiet corners of the house. He used my hools at his pleasure. Every encounter was dangerous and exciting. Daytime touches disguised as casual, whispered commands that made my body shiver, and the constant thrill that someone might catch us. I became addicted to the secrecy, to the tension. He was rough, demanding, yet careful, knowing exactly how far to push me without destroying the delicate balance of our public lives. My desire for him grew uncontrollably. Every glance from him made my body hum. Every whispered word made me ache. For weeks before the wedding, the unthinkable happened. My fiancé returned unexpectedly from work in the islands. Apparently, he had a phone call at the airport telling him to go home unannounced. To go up to his room quickly but quietly. It was his mum. It was the last encounter and it was explosive. We were caught unprepared, reckless, burning with desire. I was bent over getting plowed from behind, making sounds, saying things when my fiancé coughed, and we both turned to see him standing in the doorway. My mind went black. The shame was raw, but so was the thrill. Even when confronted, I felt an unshakable pull toward him, a need that defied reason. The house was chaotic. Secrets teetered on the edge of exposure. Arguments erupted, accusations flew, and our private world completely collapsed. The elders and every other family members ordered the uncle to pack up and go. Trust was broken and family values lost. I was allowed to do anything I wanted except to stay. Even amidst chaos, I couldn't stop craving him, and he couldn't hide the hunger in his eyes. I realized then that I had chosen him, not my fiancé, not the expectations, but him. Every risk, every forbidden thrill, every stolen moment had led me here. And I wouldn't give it up. The marriage was over, and so was my relationship with my own family. If you've stayed with me until the end, you know this wasn't just a story, it was a confession. A secret I've carried for years, finally whispered into the dark. Subscribe and turn on those notifications, you'll want to hear the next forbidden secret.